It wasn't until I started writing the script for this video that I finally felt more relaxed and calm. This time, I visited the ruins of a Qing Dynasty fort. Although I had researched the history and seen some photos beforehand, the atmosphere of this site still caught me off guard. It feels quite eerie and desolate. So, in this video, I'm going to share my experience of the trip. First of all, where is this place? It's the Shan Fort in Zhenjiang, China. It was built between 1898 and 1900, but due to the events of World War II, it was left in ruins. Today, the site has been turned into a public park. Since it's a free park, anyone can enter directly without a ticket. Additionally, there doesn't seem to be any security, and the gate is usually open. So assume it might be open 24 hours. Given its slightly spooky atmosphere, it might be a popular spot for character tests at night. Anyway, let's take a look at what I saw. Today, I visited both cloudy and windy, perhaps because of the weather, or simply because the park isn't a major tourist attraction. There were very few people around. The battery was built on a hill, so I had to head up to see it. As I approached the stairs, I immediately felt a sense of unease. To be honest, I hesitated for a moment, wondering if I should hide in. Combined with the overcast sky, the mood became even more unsettling. However, I eventually decided to keep going. The hill isn't actually that high, and luckily there was a shortcut, so I reached the top sooner than expected. When I reached the top, the first thing that caught my eyes was the yellow grass. It looked a lot like a field after the autumn harvest. The grass was very soft. At first, I wondered if there really were any artillery batteries here, but after walking a few more steps, I realized I was mistaken, because I spotted them. Seeing them in person was quite exciting because the fort looked exactly like the photos I'd seen online. So that covers the first half of my trip and my initial impressions. Now, let's take a look at some of the details. Why do we only see ruins today? It all dates back to December 8, 1937. The day Zhenjiang fell to the Japanese army during World War II. Although the batteries overlooking the Yangtze River weren't the most modern equipment at the time, they still posed a threat, so the guns were quickly removed. Looking at the fort today, even though the cannons are gone, it's fortunate that the structures survived. It allows us to touch and truly feel the history. 4 batteries remain standing today, and you can even spot their outlines on satellite maps. The 4 structures are identical, with low walls forming a circular military enclosure. Historically, the artillery would have been positioned right in the center, standing there now. You can see several recesses in the circular wall. These openings are clearly shaped to hold artillery shells and offer a decent amount of space. Additionally, at the base of these recesses, there's a distinct, long circular rail. Since this rail is so close to the wall, I don't believe it was used for rotating the cannons. Based on my research, this type of Qing Dynasty battery followed a very standardized design. Similar forts can be found in other cities, such as Hebei Fort in New Taipei, Hongyuan Fort in Ningbo, and Shan Fort in Guangzhou. Heading down the stairs, we leave the battery and see the military quarters that correspond to each unit, forming a complete fort complex. Because the atmosphere feels quite desolate, I didn't take photos inside, but I did capture the exterior, including the building and its iron doors. The hilltop isn't very large, so the fort itself is quite compact, with the paths at the back connecting all 4 batteries. The hilltop location offers a great vantage point. From here, you can see the skyline of this small city and the mountains stretching along the Yangtze River. 100 years ago, these cannons pointed directly at the river to protect it. However, as time passed, the course of the Yangtze River shifted. Areas that used to be riverbanks have turned into dry land, and as the city expands, more and more buildings are cropped up. As I was leaving the fort, I came across a large mansion near the top of the hill. At first, I thought it might have been converted into a museum about the fort's history, but as I got closer, I realized it was actually an abandoned estate. It's large enough to be seen on satellite maps, which only adds to mysterious aura. The overgrown greenery and windows blocked up with bricks made the atmosphere feel increasingly uneasy. I had originally planned to visit the mansion after the fort, but the vibe was a bit too unsettling for me. So this time, I focused solely on the fort and gave the mansion a miss. So, what type of artillery was used here? I remember reading 2 excellent articles written by a Zhenjiang local who is clearly a history enthusiast. He mentioned a specific name, the 150mm quick-firing gun made by Armstrong. This sparked my curiosity to find out the exact model. According to the articles, these Armstrong 150mm guns were among the primary coastal defense weapons for the Qing Dynasty. Since the Shan Fort was built between 1898 and 1900, the guns must have been from that era. Eventually, I identified a likely candidate, the quick-firing 60-inch naval gun. Since the 60-inch is roughly 150mm, and this model was a mainstream weapon used worldwide from 1892 to 1945, it fits perfectly. Although it was originally a naval gun, many countries utilized it for coastal defense as well. Considering all this, it's highly probable that these Armstrong guns served at合山Fort from 1900 until they were removed or destroyed by the Japanese military during World War II. That is for today's video. Thank you for watching, take care, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.